Southern Mississippi's Golden Eagles entertain the UAB Blazers, and this week travel to Knoxville to take on the Tennessee Volunteers. We'll take a look at what's going on in Golden Eagle football today on Southern Miss Sports Today with Coach Jay Hopson. Well, hi everybody. Welcome to Southern Miss Sports Today with Coach Jay Hopson, presented by Bancorp South. Golden Eagles will spend the next couple of weeks on the road. They're traveling this weekend up to Knoxville, Tennessee. Stepping out of Conference USA play, they'll take on the Tennessee Volunteers. The Golden Eagles coming off a tough one this past Saturday night at home against the Blazers of UAB. And Hop, let's talk about the UAB ball game. Again, kind of the tale of two halves. You play pretty decently there in the first half and take a 12-7 lead in the locker room at halftime. Second half, though, the Blazers able to get going and pick up the victory.
Yeah, I thought we came out really the first 2 or 3 drives. We actually moved the ball well. And our first drive on defense, we had a tough drive that first drive, but then we settled in and played really well defensively the rest of the first half. Got down in that red area a couple times and had a couple field goals. Would like to punched it in, but up 12-7. I thought, other than the first possession on defense, I thought we'd played well, and I thought offensively through that first quarter and early second we'd moved the ball well. Came out in the second half, and the third quarter was not kind to us, but I felt like defensively we still kind of kept it going a little bit. Offensively we had a tough quarter, and got into the fourth quarter. They had scored once, and it was 13-12, anybody's game, and certainly, John, it was kind of like the third quarter in the North Texas game. The fourth quarter of this game was not one of our better quarters.
Defensively, it was third down that kind of hurt you. You did a pretty good job on first and second. They were able to convert, particularly in the second half, some third downs to keep some drives going. Yeah,
they ran a little draw that we'll work on. We worked on all this week, too, and so they just kind of hit us and kind of we got up the field, and the running back made a play, and so it was give him credit. He ran hard, and we certainly didn't own our gaps, but I think that allowed a couple of those drives. We had them in some third and long yardage situations, and weren't able to get them off the field, especially in that late third, early fourth quarter. But again, give UAB credit.
Just a minute, one of our features this week is on senior offensive lineman Tyler Stutzman. He's a guy he's been kind of the most versatile guy. He's played, I think in his career, he's played guard, he's played tackle, he's played center. Yeah. A young man who's really made a great number of contributions in his time here.
And Tyler is just a team guy through and through. He's a young man that will do whatever the team needs. He's a guy that can play center, guard. He bounces around all over the offensive line. He was a little bit ill going into camp, and being a senior, he fought through it, lost a lot of weight, and we sat there and we kind of nursed him through that. And Tyler, he gained his weight back, and he's really played well for us. I'm proud of Tyler. I'm proud of just the grit that he showed, because it was a tough time this August. He had a little deal. We won't go into the area. He has a deal kind of that I have, and it's tough. And he kept fighting and pressing, so he's a young man that's meant a lot to our football team, and we really appreciate him.
All right, Coach Hopson's going to join us on the show, come back in just a little bit, but now it's time to go a little deeper behind the scenes of Golden Eagle football, so let's take a look at this week's features.
The reason I came to Southern Miss was, first off, I always grew up coming to Southern Miss games. My mom and dad graduated from here, and just always loved Southern Miss. I loved the coaching staff that was there, and there really wasn't any, I had a few other offers to D1 schools, but this was the school that I always knew I wanted to go to. There was one game, I was in the 3rd grade, and we were playing TCU. I think it was a Thursday night, and I remember sitting right there on the 50-yard line, right behind TCU's bench, and when the goalpost came down, and that was a really cool experience for me. I played baseball all the way up until my sophomore year in high school, and I played basketball all throughout high school, but I think I kind of found my niche for football when I was a junior in high school, and I realized that I was pretty good at it. I played defensive end and offensive line, and I actually liked defense more in high school, but ended up being converted offensive line in JUCO. The coach that recruited me was Coach Duggan, and Coach Meadows. They were on me pretty heavily. They were always calling me every week before my games on Thursday, and I just established a really good relationship with them, where other coaches, like, they would call me like once a month or so, and I just knew that this is where I'd be a good fit for me. Cam was a guy that, you know, you just watched him because he rarely ever made a mistake. So you just had to kind of learn from him, and I was just always like asking him questions, picking his brain, like what to do on this, you know, because he, like, even on film, you could, in practice and stuff, he never like missed a block or gave up any sacks or stuff like that. So I'm studying construction engineering, and whenever I graduate, I want to eventually own my own construction business.
You know what? What we went through here, and what we accomplished here at Southern Miss was special, and I wouldn't trade that for nothing in the world. I mean, I really wouldn't. Coming in as a freshman in '79, that first game in Florida State, what I experienced at Florida State, the guys I played with, some of the relationships that have been developed, you know, at that time, coaches that I've been involved with, the experiences that we talk about here on this field, stuff we did against Alabama, Florida State, and as a team for those 4 years. If I would have came along 15 years ago, I wouldn't have had that. You know, it's something. You know, it's something. It's always something. It's always great to do something that gets your name in the paper, to put your name in the record books or whatever. But it's something different to do something, to be the first to do it. All right, the first to do it. I don't care how many people come along after you. They can never be the first. I happen to be with a group of guys that accomplished a lot of firsts here at Southern Miss that a lot of people can't say. Yeah, we were the first one to be on TV. No, you wasn't. We were the first team to be ranked. No, you weren't. You were the first team to be ranked in the top 10. No, you weren't. You know, that 81 team was the first to do, the 80 and 81 team was the first to do that. You know, those kind of things, you know. So it's what I have liked to play in a different system, with the way it's wide open now, when they allow quarterbacks to do the things that they do and put up the numbers that they put up. Yeah, it would have been interesting to see how I would have performed in that environment, but no. I mean, I'm happy and that I came along when I did, played with who I played with, being coached by who coached me, and the atmosphere and the excitement that was created while I was here because of those teams I played with, that hasn't been duplicated. I mean, it really hasn't. And we've had some great crowds and this and other, but during that 4-year period from '79 to '82, a lot of people are still around when that was happening, and they're here today. And I'm pretty sure if you asked them, what's the difference between then and now, they would let you know, hey, that was something special back then from '79 to '82, in the years after that. So 15 years after, I'm happy to be where I was when I was there, at the time I was there, and from 79 to 82, man, it was pretty good for me. So I want to make that move.
What led me to play football and just be involved was, it started at a young age. My brother played high school. He's 13 years older than me. I remember he brought his helmet home one weekend and he put it on my head, and I was like, this just feels amazing having a football helmet on and running around the yard, trying to hit everything I could, even trees, whatever I get my hands on. Bags of leaves, that was my favorite thing about the fall. Just bag up leaves and you can make tackling dummies. And then I played, other sports growing up, but football was what I was best at. I was pretty good at hockey too, a little bit of basketball, some soccer, but I enjoyed playing football the most. Well, growing up down in Florida, I went to school with a lot of Gator fans, and I was, the new kid, and I was not a fan of a lot of the kids I was going to school with, and they were all Florida fans. So I was like, you know what, I want to go to Florida State and beat these guys and be a part of it, be a part of the, the cause. But I think it was UCF, FIU. It wasn't really big schools, and I wasn't highly recruited. I was a no-star until Florida State offered me, but Florida State ended up being my second offer, and I was like, I got to commit. I committed on the spot, if not 2 days later. So, I had a plan. I was in my head, and I knew where I wanted to go and how I wanted to get there. So getting recruited, it was James Coley, who is now the offensive coordinator, I believe, at Georgia, recruited me for tight end. I think Coach Trickett saw me at a camp, and I remember I should have known right there I was never going to play tight end again, because he pulled me over to the offensive line group, and I didn't get to go with tight ends, but I didn't care. I just wanted to be there, and I wanted to, put that Florida State helmet on. That's what it was about. And then Coach Trickett, and I was probably 220 pounds. You want linemen in college Division I, at least 300. And he said he saw my hands and my feet, and I just hadn't grown into my body yet. And I think he's seen guys like, my frame over the years, and he just knew. So that's how that kind of happened. The first time I really realized that I could play in the NFL was in 2011 when a Houston Texans scout came through. And I think Coach Trick was trying to make a point to all the older guys that, you guys aren't going to make it. You think you're going to the NFL? Because we heard that over and over. And he turned the scout. I guess he knew him by name. He said, hey, so-and-so, hey, who's your favorite player you saw on film today? And he's like, 52, in like a high-pitched voice. It was pretty funny. But after that, I kind of opened my eyes, like, hey, I really got a chance here. And obviously, I always knew I had a chance deep down. Growing up in class, the teacher said, what do you want to do when you grow up? I was like, play in the NFL. Like, oh, no, you got to have something else. But I was like, no, I want to play in the NFL. All my papers are written about playing in the NFL. Yeah, there's definitely, it's great to be there. It was a dream come true. You learn things on the run, and the pressure is definitely way higher, and you're held more accountable because there's always a guy ready to take your job. And that's something you always got to keep in mind. But, I enjoyed the guys I played with, and the intelligence level as far as football goes was just tremendous. And just learning from those guys, and, I carry that, in the back of my mind, and it was a great experience. I always said I would never coach. Well, I wanted to be a coach after football, and then I went to the Patriots, and I saw how those coaches never went home. They slept there, and they saw their kids on Sunday after the game. I was like, man, I don't want anything to do with that. So, once I came home, I sat around for a few months, took my time trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Tried out for a few teams, just didn't work out. Eventually got my real estate license, just trying to scrounge and find something. But they always say just try new things and you'll find your way. But I was sitting there and I got offered to be offensive coordinator at one of the high schools in town. So I realized when I was at work, trying to sell houses, which I was terrible at. I didn't sell one or have one listing. It took me like a day to realize when my boss caught me scripting up practice for spring ball. I was like, yep. I was like, I need to be in coaching. I can't do this. And so that's what made me want to make that move. Made a phone call to Clint Trickett, Coach Trickett's son. I was like, hey, you know anybody looking for GAs or any junior college jobs? And he said, well, I think Losey's looking for a GA. So I called Coach up right away, and just 2 days later he happened to be recruiting in Melbourne, Florida. Came up there, 45-minute drive from Vero Beach, and went and talked to him. And ever since then, that's when I decided to come here. I like how it's not too big, but it ain't too small. It's just right. It's not like Tallahassee where it's just crazy all the time. It's pretty laid back. But as far as being around this culture and this coaching staff, I love the guys we work with. We have a great staff. It could be really bad. I mean, there's some staffs around the country that are just split, divided. This guy doesn't like this, but we all work together, and it's a pleasure to work with the guys I work with.
This is so exciting. Now they have a real place that they can come. I mean, we just had tables here before. We have a lot more options. They're able to see all their options. And not only that, but I can actually stand here and provide them with the information of what's best to eat right now. Are you going to class? Are you getting ready to work out? Are you just finishing working out? And so then it's an easier way for me to educate at the same time. So they're not just coming and grabbing their snacks. I'm actually here providing that educational piece that is so important. I was a collegiate gymnast myself and really got into sports nutrition, trying to feel my own body, reading up on things and trying to, kind of trial and error. Okay, when I'm eating, how is it affecting my performance? And that's what really got me into sports nutrition, and now I love being on the other side of it. Okay, trying to teach these athletes what you're eating really can affect your performance, and so I'm just trying to help them there. So my own personal nutrition philosophy is I really promote whole foods first. I believe that you can get all your nutrients and vitamins and minerals that you need from whole foods before going to supplements. Although supplements, like this whey protein powder, for athletes when they're done working out and they're not super hungry, it would be appropriate then, but whole foods first is really my philosophy. I also believe in individualized nutrition approach. One nutrition plan isn't going to work for every athlete, and even that same athlete, different times of the year, they're going to need a different nutrition plan. So definitely an individualized nutrition approach is something that I'm really trying to do here. We definitely have different plans for each position. Some athletes are going to they're going to need to gain weight, some athletes are going to need to maintain weight, and some athletes are going to need to lose weight. And so we definitely, and that's what I mean by really trying to have an individualized nutrition approach, is every athlete's going to be a little different. And even if you're not an athlete, your metabolism is different, and so it's really working one-on-one with these athletes, trying to meet them where they are, so that I can set realistic goals for them. Food is a comfort thing. So a lot of them are really used to going and getting fried food, and I think it's really that educational piece that they've just never had before. And so that's what I'm really trying to educate them first. And then maybe at some of their meals, I plan all their meals, so I'll throw in some broccoli, and even if I have to add a little bit of cheese on it at first to get them to like it, they really do, once they try it, and they talk to each other too, hey, that broccoli is really good. And so they kind of spread the word that way, but I think just slowly introducing healthier options, and then along with that explaining, how this is going to help your performance, and really trying to get them to buy into that. I've had players even on the field during the game, they'll come up to me and be like, oh my gosh, I'm playing like way better. You're right, Natasha. And so, I mean, that's just really exciting, because sometimes it is difficult when you're standing in front of the food and I'm like, this is going to help you. And so sometimes it's hard without seeing that results for the athlete. And that's what they want to see, results right away. So it's really, really fun when they come up to me and they're like, you know, this really helped me, because that's what I'm here for and that's why I'm here.
Well, the Golden Eagles get ready to hit the road this week. They travel up to Knoxville, Tennessee, and they'll take on the Tennessee Volunteers. We'll talk about that ball game in just a minute. But Hop, one of the things we just saw on our features this week, one was on nutrition, and that's something that's you know, kind of a big part of any college football program. More recently, you guys just added a nutrition bar to the strength conditioning center here on campus. Talk about nutrition and how that sort of fits in with everything that goes on.
Well, it's critical. I mean, our players, you certainly want them getting vitamins. You want them having the muscle milk or the core power, which is what we use, and you want them to actually, you know, we have a little cherry bundy in there. We have all types of food, sandwiches, fruits, things that throughout the day you want to make sure they're refueling and they're taking care of their bodies, you know. And to me, that's the only way you can be at your best, is make sure. And sometimes they get on the go and miss lunch, and so we want to make sure that we have something there for them to make sure they can get through the day and be productive.
Athletic department has a nutritionist. Natasha Hansen handles that. It's not like the old days when you and I were in school. You'd go grab you a hamburger or something.
Right.
It's all kind of planned out for these guys to make sure they get all the energy and all the stuff they need.
Right, and Natasha does a great job. She's there for our pregame meals, and she's there. She makes shakes for them after workouts. So you know, we're adding the nutrition bar. I think has been a big plus. We just got that you know, built about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So that's part of the journey as we continue to grow in that weight room and give these young men everything they need to be successful.
Other feature we had today was on Bryan Stork, who's one of your graduate assistants on the offensive side, works with closely with Coach Losey in the offensive line, former great player at Florida State, Super Bowl champion with the New England Patriots. So great to have a guy like that that's a part of the staff.
I think it's great. I think especially for our guys up front, our offensive linemen, you know, I think that's one thing Bryan can give him, is that perspective of playing in the NFL and what it takes, and he's been with Coach Losey for quite a while, and so you know, I think those guys really appreciate Bryan, the insight he gives them. He's a guy that is a very cerebral young man, and he's going to be an excellent football coach, and we're certainly glad to have him on staff.
You step out of Conference USA now and travel up to Knoxville this week to take on Tennessee. They've had kind of an up and down season, but you know, anytime you go up there, it's going to be a packed house and a good football team.
There's no doubt about it. They, you know, and you look at they had a tough loss to Florida, had a tough loss to South Carolina, had a tough loss last week to Kentucky, and all those games went down to the wire. So we know we've got an excellent football team that we're going to play, and so they have our utmost respect. So we know we've got to have a good week, and we're looking forward to getting to Knoxville. And you know, it's always fun to kind of get back on the field, at least after a disappointing week, but we understand we got a big challenge.
Real quick, when you look at Tennessee, how do they like to play offensively and defensively?
Well, they certainly, they're basically, they do a lot of stuff as far as, they're probably not, their personnel groupings, a lot of 11 and 12, and they'll give you a lot of different looks out of those personnel groupings. So you know, certainly they make you work defensively. You know, offensively, they're a team on their defense that can mix it up. You know, that they're, you know, what I call you know, they can give you all types of differences. I hate to go too much into schematics, John, on TV, but they're a team that certainly that they can run it, they can throw it. They're physical up front. They got an athletic quarterback. A lot of speed at tailback, and certainly have some playmakers out wide at receiver.
And I know looking at Tennessee, last week we played a UAB ball club that was an older ball club. Tennessee's got some older players, but they're mixing in a lot of young guys as well.
They are. Their receiver, you know, number one, he's a freshman and has just been a tremendous football player for them. And again, they're talented out wide, a lot of speed in the backfield, athletic quarterback, big up front. So again, they have our utmost respect. We know we got an excellent football team.
You always respect your opponent. You always prepare for all the things they're going to do. But I know when you went back to practice this week, it was a lot about the Golden Eagles, just being the best that you can be.
That's right, and that's what we want to do. We want to be better every week, and you know, certainly sometimes adversity strikes, and our guys understand that. And we'll get back to work, and that's part of the journey, and just getting better.
All right, Hop, thanks as always for the visit here each week on the show. Best of luck this week against Tennessee.
Thanks, Cox.
All right, Coach Jay Hopson and the Golden Eagles travel up to Knoxville, Tennessee, take on the Tennessee Volunteers out of the Southeastern Conference. The 6th time these two teams have met in history, the first time way back in 1950. Don't forget, on Monday nights, we're at Georgia Blue for the Golden Eagle Hotline with Coach Hopson. Come on by, visit with us, enjoy a great meal, and we'll talk a little Golden Eagle football. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next time. Another inside look into Golden Eagle football.
Been thinking about it since I was a kid.
Mom would be so proud.
If I could do it for a living.
Using my mom's recipes to open up a cupcake shop.
For my daughter to go to vet school.
Singing karaoke in all 50 states.
Captaining my own shrimp boat.
Tell us what you dream about. With the right loan or savings plan, we can make it a reality, no matter how crazy.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Keeping you within reach of what matters most. We're Bancorp South, and we're right where you are.
You got me falling hard, sweet baby, got me falling hard for you. And still, I felt this way before, you know it's true. And still, you got me more and more. Oh, you got me falling hard.
Bocoma Casino invites you to come experience a Las Vegas-style atmosphere with small-town southern charm just up the road in Sandersville, Mississippi. You could drive over 70 miles to the coast, but don't risk the road. Bocoma Casino boasts over 700 high-energy slots, plus your favorite table games like blackjack, craps, roulette, and poker. Our 27,000-square-foot casino offers so many ways to win. Come see us at Bocoma Casino. Real winning, real close to home. Sandersville, Mississippi. Play here, win here.
Hey Southern Miss fans, it's Toby Barker, Mayor of Hattiesburg. Mickey Spagnola once wrote, "If you're going to war and you get to choose first, choose Southern Mississippi. Always choose Southern Mississippi. Don't fight Southern Mississippi, because no matter how hard you fight, those folks will fight harder." His words capture the character of our institution and our city. We here in Hattiesburg are writing a new story, one where we rise to our challenges with great excitement, one where we push our city to reach its potential, and most importantly, one where there's real partnership between the University of Southern Mississippi and the city of Hattiesburg. Southern Miss is vital to our city's success, from the quality of life it provides through athletics and the arts to the talent it cultivates in the classroom. We share a common destiny. Hattiesburg is proud to be Mississippi's college city, and we hope as we go forward you'll join us in supporting our Golden Eagles this season as they go to the top.